Well, welcome, Michelle. Welcome to FND TV. So excited to have you on board. How you doing?
I'm good. So, how are you doing? All the way
Yeah,
over across the other side of the world. We're talking to each other from California to Australia. I think that's awesome.
I love that. I love that. Honestly, this has been the best thing about socials. Like you get to meet so many people from around the amazing world. So tell me a little
Right.
bit about you.
Well, my name is Michelle Kwistoff, and I am 48 currently until 2 weeks from now when I have my birthday. and
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And I have functional neurological disorder. I had brain surgery for Chiari malformation in uh, 2022. Wow, it's been a minute.
Wow.
And I started having symptoms like just crazy neurological stuff started happening about 2 weeks after my surgery. And I checked back in with my neurosurgeon. I checked back in with my primary care, and my primary wanted to send me to a neurologist. Well, there's not a lot to choose from where I live. I live up in the Northern California mountains, and it's a very small town up here. So the I was rejected from 6 different neurological clinics, and we couldn't figure out why. And they kept saying I was either too complicated or, they didn't want to touch me because I'd had brain surgery. And I'm thinking, isn't that kind of like your job to
This
to
is
take care
exactly,
of these people?
this is exactly what I've been
So
thinking.
yeah, so I was fortunate enough after about a year and a half after my surgery to finally get into UC Davis Neurological Clinic down there. And I actually didn't get in to see an actual doctor. I saw an intern, and he was supervised. He was doing his clinicals with another doctor, and she was one of the supervising professors there. And she was helping him kind of go through interviewing me and talking to me and looking at my exams and my all my medical history, which was a lot because I started getting sick in 2025 before I had my brain surgery. And, what I had was Chiari-1 malformation, and it was not detected until I was 45 years old. So most
Wow.
of the time, it's you're not alive by that point. So I had a very
Wow.
rare type of birth defect, and it
Wow.
was what they call a scallop syndrome, which was the back of my skull was foreshortened, and it had, instead of it being a flat smooth surface, it looked like 4 little scallop shell edges, and it was foreshortened in the back, so my brain was not supported in the back of my skull. Well, I had 2 types of bilateral intrusion on the Chiari, where it was actually slipped below the skull about 5.5 millimeters, and then it was there's a little part in your brain called the pons, and it's like supposed to be about the size of a bird egg.
Yep.
And mine had enlarged to the size of a large bird egg, and it had detached from the temporal lobe. So they did
Oh,
emergency
wow.
surgery on me, and that's probably the only reason I'm still here. But I went through almost 3 years of trying to figure that one out too, and it was right in the middle of COVID, so that didn't work.
Wow.
But like I
It's
said, this
crazy. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's crazy that after all of that, and they were able to diagnose that and see that, and then you come back and you're like, something's not right. And they're like, we can't help you. Like, I can't understand that.
yeah, it was really weird because my neurosurgeon, he goes, well, I don't think you're having symptoms related to your surgery, and from what I can see, he says there's no complications with your Chiari malformation surgery. He said your brain surgery went really well. He says
Mm.
you had complex anatomy, but he says we took care of all of that. I was like, oh, good. But yeah, it was a year and a half before I could get into UC Davis. And then
This is
once
with
I
the
saw,
intern. Yeah.
yeah, saw the intern, and then he referred me to all kinds of, I mean, I had blood tests, I had ultrasounds, I had a full spine, full body EMG scan, which is where they like test different parts with an electromagnetic current going through your body. And I was like, oh, this is this is not fun either. But
Yeah.
and
So
then
what were your
he
symptoms? Sorry, what were your symptoms at this time for them to run all these scans?
speech problems,
Yeah.
balance problems, memory problems. I still have trouble swallowing. Um, my I don't know if you can see it right there. It causes a spasm in my neck, and it created problems with me swallowing food or chewing up food. And it was a little uncomfortable to try and get anything down. But
Just a little.
I, yeah, I went to a speech therapist and
Yeah.
I had physical therapy, and then my doctor here was running tests, and then she was trying to refer me to somebody else if they couldn't place me with the neurologist down there. And the intern I saw, he kind of suspected FND, but he also kind of was thinking like all kinds of other stuff too. We're talking like lupus and Lewy bodies, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
No,
no,
thank
no.
you. No, thank you.
We're not doing any of that. But yeah, so I was still going to speech therapy and physical therapy uh, while they were trying to get me to a doctor down there. And so fortunately, it only took
Did it
about
help?
3. Yeah, I mean, I literally can walk with a cane now for most things. When I came in there, I couldn't walk at all. And my
Amazing.
speech was, I couldn't make words. I literally couldn't write words down, and I couldn't form words. So I have an amazing speech therapist here. She's helped me get to this point. You'll hear me sort of stutter or forget my words through this,
Yeah.
but
I'm the
that's
same.
okay.
Yeah.
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 I
Speech was
mean,
one of the first things, and now it comes back the more stressed or nervous or anxious
tired.
or, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, all of
all of
that
it.
good stuff.
Same. Exact same. um, that was probably the first thing is I started stuttering, and I was like, what the, where is that coming from? Because in my previous experience, I had been a public speaker. I have, been a theater actress and done different things like that in my youth and stuff. So it was not like
Amazing.
I did not know how to speak well. But FND kind of flipped the script on that one. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I think that was probably the first one was the speech therapy or the speech deficits, and then the balance. I could literally fall over just standing still, and my legs would give out,
Wow.
and I'm like, what? And then I started developing tremors in my legs and in my
Yeah.
arms, and especially like my right hand, and that's my dominant hand. So yeah, weird.
I
Um,
bet, like, it's crazy listening to you because I had the speech, then the spasms, then I get the shakes in my right hand, which is my
mhm,
dominant hand, the cognitive.
yeah,
Like, and honestly, I'm just like, every time I hear it, I'm like, "Fuck, it's not just me." Because sometimes I don't know how you are, but I'm like, maybe it's just going to pass. Maybe it's just some sort of, like, I don't know. I get in these little moments where you kind of think
yeah,
it's not, but then you hear someone and you're like, yes, yes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's the commonality of FND is every person is different, but we have similar symptoms in a lot of cases,
100%.
and it just gets
100%.
missed. It
Yeah.
just gets missed by the doctors because I was fortunate enough that my actual doctor that diagnosed me with FND and it has been treating me for it, she is, at least in the US, she is one of the leading research professors
Oh,
and clinicians across the country. Her name is Dr.
wow.
Rochelle Frank. She has been amazing. I am grateful for everything I've been able to accomplish just because of having had a proper diagnosis with her. And I I don't know what would have happened I if I hadn't met her and been able to have that diagnosis. And it was really interesting when I finally did meet her. She says, "I'm gonna do a few little tests with you." Thinking, okay, here we go again. How bad am I going to fail this one? And
Yeah.
she goes, well, the good news is you passed with 100%. And I looked at her funny because I'm sitting there going, my right leg doesn't want to do what I'm telling it to do. My left leg won't get off the floor and trying to take 3 steps here and I almost fell on my face. Are you kidding me? She's like, well, the good news is I can 100% say I have a diagnosis for you. And she says, and I have no doubt you have extreme FND symptoms. I'm like, what is FND? And I spent most of my life in the medical field. So it was like, she says it's functional neurological disorder. It used to be labeled as conversion disorder or hysteria disorder. And I'm like, I'm not hysterical. And she was telling me about it. And I was like, how did everybody else miss this? I mean, and then she's telling me that most of the research it hasn't even been labeled until 2019 as its own disorder. What?
100%. I don't
And
understand that. I honestly, that floors me. That absolutely
right.
floors me that it was only in the 1990s did it start getting some structure, properly labeled, people starting to look at it. And it's only the last couple of years has it
Yeah.
started to see that. And that's where you will see the research that I post. I'm like, this is madness that it's been around for so long, yet not given the attention, time, research focus, acknowledgement. But it's
Right.
still, the stigma still carries on. Like, that's the crazy part.
And I'm sure you had doctors tell you, oh, it's all in your head. And I was like, it's
I was
not.
fortunate. I was like you. I went to the right emergency. I found Dr. Mohand, God bless him. It took me
Mhm.
6 months to go see him. But, and I had 6 weeks, like once a week, I would go to see him for an hour and his team, and they educated me and all of that. And
Mhm.
that was such a point of difference when I hear about other people who years before they're
Yeah.
diagnosed. So I'm incredibly fortunate as part of that process. But all the tests that I did independently of that, exactly that, you're fine. No, I don't know. It's
Mhm.
not us. It's not us. It's
Yeah.
not us. And I'm like, peace out. Then I don't, I'm out. I'm out.
Oh, right. And
Yeah.
with me too, I was telling him like I'm on my own guinea pig at this point. Just do whatever you're gonna do because I don't know what else to say. And once I learned what FND was, I think the biggest thing is educating yourself because then you can be your own advocate and you can look for doctors in your specialty and you can find that part of the process where someone else knows more than you do. And
100%.
I am grateful for
100%.
those people because when I first found out about it, the first person I saw as my supposed general practitioner, she tells me, "Oh, well, thank you for educating me
Yeah.
about your condition." And I went, "Huh?"
Same, same. But bless her, she signed everything. I said, I think I need to see a psychologist. She goes, here you go. And it's like, I need
Yeah,
to see this person. Here you go. Like,
right. Yeah, they become the person to dish you out to the next
yeah,
person.
yeah, yes. Oh,
Yeah,
I love it. But so tell me how, like, it's been a hell of a ride. I think though
definitely.
of what I hear though in regards to your life, I mean, just turning the kind of channel for a second, like it sounds like you're doing some amazing stuff now in kind of your day to day by way of refinding yourself.
Right. When I was going to my therapist, he was talking to me about, this isn't the you knew, but now this is the new 2.0 version.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that stuck with me because it's like, well, the 2.0 is usually better than the beta version. But this body comes with a lot of quirks and issues and some terms and conditions I definitely didn't agree to. But I've tried to make my life now as
Yeah.
positive as I possibly can. And like I told you in one of our chats, I'm a 5th generation military kid.
I love
And
it.
I work with our local Veterans Museum here. My best friend, he's the founder and director of that. So I work with the local veterans. I work with, some of their families because not only do veterans end up with PTSD, but a couple of the ones that, you know, I've run into have FND and have no idea what it even is. And they're they're struggling with just a lot more from the damages of war than what, you know, our bodies physically are doing with just the FND. So you top PTSD from war on top of FND, and it's a nightmare for these guys. And in the military, they tell you, you know, don't ask for help. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of the
Really?
sayings of, oh yeah. Oh yeah. They tell you don't ask for help. You got to be strong. You got to fight through it. And so that's why they have such a high suicide rate with all of this. One of our programs here, my best friend, he developed it because he did 2 tours in Iraq. He did 177 night missions outside the wire. He was a convoy command leader. And so some of these convoys that he was taking through the desert were literally 10, 12 miles long and had like 150 vehicles in it, taking supplies from one place to another. And you can't drive with your headlights on. You never know if you're going to run over an IED. You don't know if you're going to have explosives around every corner or somebody shooting at you or, you know, any of that stuff. And just knowing the people that I work with through the museum and through our programs there, I see how they can't even cope with their daily life. So some of the programs that we offer help them cope and reintegrate back into their family, because literally these guys can be in one country and then in less than 24 hours be back in their home state and told, oh, go see your family and come back to life. You know, it doesn't work that way. And for us with FND, how are we supposed to do the same? You know, they drop you off with a diagnosis and say, okay, now go figure it out. But
No, and this is it. Like, yeah, like yeah. The post-it note, like the piece of paper, the kind of link. You're like, yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's really amazing that you're able to support those that serve and that give so
Mhm.
much, considering how much it takes from them, you know, and have
Right.
a family of that. I think that's huge. And, you know, in a way, it is, I think, an extra element that you understand them from, you know, a
Mhm.
different perspective in kind of acknowledging that. Because I feel like being surrounded by people that are not only positive, but that support and see you is
Yeah.
huge. So
And
what
many of these guys, they just need somebody to listen to them. And that's what I'm really good at, because some days I can't talk very well.
and guys, like I feel for them. Like, you know, that's not their first thing. Like, and it comes from an era and it's still, you know, don't, you know, guys don't cry. Like, you know, it's, you know, it is that kind of still that toughen up kind of
Yeah.
and just push through, don't talk. I think it's, yeah, I think it's something that you're starting to see change. And that's why, especially with FND, like I've said it before, like my heart goes out to the men because a lot of it's focused on women. And,
Right.
you know, but it's, man, it's non-discriminatory. It's like, it will hand out to all. So what, you know, your energy is amazing and I love it. And I love your t-shirt, by the way. I just,
Oh, there you go. It's a kind of an inside thing, you know, when I was going through all the medical testing before brain surgery and everything else,
yeah.
one of the nurses that I saw, she goes, "Oh, you're your regular old little rainbow unicorn zebra," and I laughed, but I kind of took that on, and it was like, hey, if I gotta be unique and I gotta be a complete
Yes,
mystery, then I'm gonna rock that, you know. So, you know, I'm big
absolutely.
into the rainbow unicorns, even the
I love
skeleton
it.
one.
I love it. Hey man, I loved it. Before FND Revolution, it was FND Unicorn because I was just
Right?
like, yeah, well, yeah, man. I was just like, we're not warriors. We're like unicorns. Like nobody feels like we exist, but we are so magical and beautiful. Like, come on.
Exactly. You got it, girl.
Yeah, I love it. So tell me, look, I would love to know, like, what do you do to fill your cup? Like, I mean, you do some amazing work. I heard that you got an amazing family, extended family. Tell me what fills your cup. What are your like hobbies? What's your joy?
Well, before FND, I was actually a CrossFit athlete for
Oh
national
my
competition
gosh.
and an Olympic
Wow.
weightlifter. So when I can and my body cooperates, I try to exercise and I go towards, the heavy lifting things. If my body goes, okay, we can do some of that today. And
Yay.
I've grown up here in these mountains, and I came back after traveling around so much as an adult, and I've got a view of Mount Lassen out my living room window. I'm gonna let
Oh,
you look these up later,
yeah, I
and
will,
I can see
definitely.
Mount Shasta out the kitchen window. And then I've got the Trinity Alps to the east of me. And then I've got all of the Shasta Valley all the way through here. So it's just beautiful. And if you look up California and those mountains, you'll see where I live. And so I've got 5.5 acres up here
I'm
that
writing
I'm
it
the
down because I am going to look it up after.
there you go. I've got 5.5 acres up here, and like I told you, I have my service dog Mithri. So
All
she
right.
goes out
Yes,
with
yes,
me
yes,
wherever
yes,
we
yes,
go,
yes.
and we are
Oh,
the best of buds. We found each other, and she was scared and abused and neglected,
oh,
and she was 45 pounds when I found her little self, and now
oh,
she is 108 pounds, and
I love it.
She's a American Staffordshire Bull Terrier. She's one of the XL bully
I love
breeds or the pit bull breed.
Oh,
So,
yeah, yeah. I
uh,
had a pit bull growing up, and
oh,
honestly,
cool.
they get such a bad rap. It's
Oh, yeah.
honestly the treatment that because he
Hmm.
was he was as cute as he's just like and then he'd be in trouble and he gets down and he's like
Yep. Got the head down, the tail tucked. Just like, sorry, mom.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's been a blessing because like she's able to help me on days that I don't function very well. And I'm like, Myth, I need help getting off this chair, or she can go and get things for me if I can't go and walk
oh,
off
I love
to
that.
go pick them up. And she's good for when we go walking because she will hedge me enough to guard me to be able to keep my balance. And she's
Oh,
super protective of me, and she just loves everybody. One of the programs that we have with the museum is called Operation Canine Support. And so a lot of the guys,
oh,
like, they get a service dog
I love
and
that.
they don't know how to interact with them or they haven't been able to bond with
Oh,
them. And so Myth and I go out and we teach them how to work together to increase that bond. And so that,
yes, yes.
'cause some of the dogs, they're rescues just like Mithri was. And so, they don't have the best backgrounds or they're not bred for, anything else, but they have the personality and the character to be a service dog. And so a lot of the guys or ladies that we work with, they're like, "Oh, she's so cute," and I'm like, "Yep," and she's super smart too. And I
Yeah.
said, "And she's gonna be your teacher today because she will go
Oh,
with them and teach them how to do the commands and different things." So she's
oh,
been a blessing to me. I've had her for the last 3 years, I guess, and she's come a long way since I found her. I'll show you a picture when we get done, and
yeah.
she was a scrawny little thing. Trust me, she was sad,
Oh,
but
but I love it. I love, love,
yeah,
love
she's the best girl. I mean, and I laughed,
it.
but I kind of took that on, and it was like, hey, if I gotta be unique and I gotta be a complete
Yes.
mystery, then I'm gonna rock that. So smart, so sweet. She just loves everybody. Her name actually means friendship in the Creek Nation,
Ah,
and she's literally everybody's friend. But my best friend
ah.
Rob, he is her favorite person in the whole world. If he's around, mom doesn't exist. So
I
yeah.
love it. Oh, so beautiful. So, oh yeah, look, I'm the same. Micro is my shadow, and he and I just yeah, day in day
Mhm.
out together. But he's on a vacation with grandma today, so he's enjoying life.
Oh,
Very spoiled.
he, he's on
So
doggy
look,
play date.
yeah, yeah, he's on doggy play day. I would love, kind of in closing, it would be really great to hear, if you had a message for someone listening, watching this episode and new to the world of FND or even old to the world of FND, what kind of message would you send them?
I would tell them that there is life even with FND and that they are important enough to live it. Don't get in that place where you focus on all of the things that are going wrong with your body, or that the pain is too much that day, or you feel like you can't go and do your other exercises, or, run a marathon or whatever. But those can be goals that you can work towards, because I've seen people go through so much worse than that and they come out the other side. And I would say to educate themselves, because they are their own best advocate and they are worth fighting for. And so if they need a hand in all of this, they're not alone. We found each other via some chat on Instagram, and it's a miracle that there's so many people out there that feel like they're alone, and yet we all are still connected in the same way, and they just have to figure out who to reach out to. So that's one of the reasons I'm doing this with you, is so that we can tell people that they're not by themselves. There is hope, there is help, there is things that they can do. And, you're going to have your good days and your bad days. Take your medicine and take your nap and try again tomorrow. So it's worth it to try and be your own advocate in this. And like I mentioned before, be your version 2.0, because it might be better than your version beta. I think
Oh,
it's a
man,
blessing.
100 million%. Like, absolutely. It has been an absolute pleasure, Michelle. Like, I am really grateful that we've connected. I mean, this is not the end of us. It
Oh,
is the end of the
definitely not. No.
episode. But thank you so much for taking the time to join us today as part of this episode of FND. And that's it, guys. Bye.
Bye.